Episode 134, Nerdy News and Stuff.
Welcome to the Visionary Variety Podcast, where we cover cool stuff like photo, video, film, books, and technology. So switch on your brain and enjoy the show.
This is Nate, and you're listening to the Visionary Variety Podcast.
And this is Angela. This week, Nate and I are going to be talking about some nerdy news items that have caught our eyes.
All right, let's get to it.
I'm glad I'm here in a way. I hurt myself recently.
Yeah?
My back is out, sort of, and I've gotten better, but I can't sit for long periods of time at all. So
are you standing?
I'm coming to y'all. No, I'm coming to y'all from the coziness of my bed.
What?
So
That needs to be a new
this works
segment.
out.
The coziness of my bed.
No, that sounds too weird.
No. Can we pause the recording? I'm just joking. I want to go
You're like,
in my
"Wait a
bed.
minute, this is a thing. I want to do this."
I need my blankie and juice box.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I don't have the juice box, so I'm hoping this works out. I've done my test recordings and stuff, and you say I sound fine, so hopefully this works out. If it does, I might just keep doing this.
Yeah. When those really long episodes come out, you're just like, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
actually, maybe
Right.
I shouldn't lay down. That'd be a bad.
Yeah, no, you would just not be part of the
Nate?
episode like a few minutes in.
A lot is happening. A lot of DC stuff is happening.
Oh, yes. A lot of trailers dropped, and I just realized this recently. And I was like, oh, there's a lot to study up on, and I just,
Yeah.
I was not prepared.
We were going to do
Until
a
just a
nerdy
little
news
bit
and
ago.
stuff, and I was like, oh, there's just more than the Batman trailer. Oops.
Yeah, I feel kind of bad that it took me this long to realize. So if we're not as in depth about certain things as we should be, please forgive us.
Well,
We're sad excuses for nerds.
We've not really had anything to
unfortunately.
nerd out about the last couple of months.
It's true. Like, we weren't used to having this much stuff dumped on us and within a week's time. Like, lately, it's just been like a few little trickles of nerd news stuff here and there. What with movies not really being a thing.
I guess somewhere out there's a lot of information being dumped somewhere.
Like, most of it's just like, oh, this is being rescheduled. This is being pushed
Yeah.
back. And it's just,
Video
as-
games, movies, everything. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, man.
games have been a thing. Like, there's no reason for to push those back.
Well, they do it still.
Oh yeah,
Recently,
wait.
too.
Everybody has to be in the same room developing stuff. Never mind. I guess they, for the employees' sake, they need to push things back. I forgot.
Yeah. I was actually going to buy Mafia. They did a remake. I was like, woohoo. So one of my buddies
No.
was like, yeah, man, I'm getting it today. I was like, so lucky. Never mind. I'm getting it next month. And I was like, next month?
Ooh.
Oh, man. Can we just talk about probably the best thing about this nerdy news and stuff? Batman? What?
Sure. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and jump into like the biggest thing going on right now.
Look, I've had mixed emotions about Batman's. I'm sorry, regardless.
Mhm.
I thought Ben Affleck did a good job. Not a great
Yeah.
job, but he did.
It's different.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time we saw like multiple suits and
Batman shooting people.
give Batman a gun. And look what happens. I was like, oh no.
I was like, what is happening? This is not what I'm used to.
So
yeah, past
Patterson
that.
is now our bat. Right after the trailer came out, guess also who is our bat again? Ben Affleck. Woo!
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a weird
I
time.
was like,
There's like
you
two different
punk,
Batman things
you
coming
punk, Mister. I don't know. And then Patterson does a really good job. He's like, actually,
on. Yeah. Y'all have to forgive Nate. He's very salty about this whole Ben Affleck situation. Like, he wanted Ben Affleck for a longer period of time, and now that he's changed his mind, not happy.
but I would say that this Batman finally, look, we've had the Riddler, and I know it was Jim Carrey way back when, but it's a nice breath of fresh air, I guess, because
Breath
we've had
of
the
fresh
Joker, we've had a lot of Joker. We had just Bane, and then that was kind of it.
Yeah, I'm glad they're doing like something different. It's not just
It's
another
not different,
Joker.
it's just newer.
Like, we're not used to seeing Riddler be like this intimidating.
Thinking they might make
It's-
this a rated R Batman.
I think so too. This
Just,
trailer is pretty dark and gritty.
I mean, it is
in my
Gotham
opinion.
City.
Yeah, but this is still like
Yeah, but
darker and grittier.
Just
than
the
we're
way,
used
just the
to.
way it turned everything into like the dark, gritty kind of feel. I was like,
the freaking trailer starts with a duct tape face.
Yeah, I was like,
written words on it. I'm like,
well,
oh, okay.
I could see it being PG-13, but this just because it's the Riddler and it's a new era.
No, just seeing how freaking Batman just wails on the guy at the end.
Oh
Y'all
my
know
gosh,
how
that
he
was
just
the best
lays
thing
a
ever.
beat down on that guy. Just wham, wham, breaks his arm, wham, wham in the face. Goes down, keeps wailing on him, and then the other guys
the
that are
best scene
around are
ever.
just like, oh my god.
Who the heck are you? I'm like, oh my gosh.
He's not Batman, he's vengeance.
I
I'm
was
like, oh,
goodness,
snap.
Batman is pissed.
It freaking reminded me like something from an Arkham game where you're just like laying down
Pretty
these combos
much.
on the guys. The sound effects even reminded me.
I was like, oh my goodness, he just murdered that man standing up.
That's why I'm like, this might be rated R just because like, he's not showing any mercy. He's like, yeah, he's probably not killing people, but he's making sure they're eating through a straw through the rest of their
pretty
life.
much.
Like,
well, I'm curious to see because I know he's a good actor. I thought Patterson's been a really good actor through many movies. A lot of people.
I'm gonna have to stop you here for everybody's sake. It's Pattinson.
Oh my gosh. Pattinson. Patterson.
Yes.
He's a good actor. And when we saw him in Twilight many years ago. Anyways, a lot of people loved him and hated him, and he's just kind of always had that love-hate situation. And I personally thought, I was like, hey, I've seen him other stuff. He's not always been a vampire, but what better role to take from a vampire to a bat? Hey, man.
Oh my god.
Let's do it. But he has the iconic superhero jaw, the very
still
chiseled.
goth looking.
Huh?
He's a very goth looking Bruce Wayne, don't you think?
Well, I mean,
with his hair. Like it's not. He doesn't have the millionaire playboy look. He looks kind of more. Yeah. I don't know, like somebody who.
I really,
is still
as fresh
in
as the trailer was, as really as great as it was. I'm like, please, do not give us another origin story on what Batman's parents did. Like,
from what I understand, it looks like, I don't know if they'll go through that whole origin. I really hope not. I know this is still an early Batman. This is a very early Batman where he's still full of rage. Catwoman's not even Catwoman. She's gonna be in it.
I'm curious to see if they're gonna keep it more comic related, or if they're going to kind of give us like that Christian Bale style where he goes and trains with Liam Neeson. But I think they're going to keep it more comic related.
If anybody's played Batman Arkham Origins, it's kind of giving me that vibe where you start off as very early Batman. Not as early as that because he wasn't working with the police really in the beginning of that game. And he's working with Commissioner Gordon in this one.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting that they introduced the Batman inside of the crime scene. I was like, oh, well.
I know. I wasn't
because
really
I'm so used to
that
Batman being like in the hiding in shadows, no one can know.
Like he doesn't really openly work with police often, just with Gordon really, and that's about it.
Yeah, so this one, him actually standing in the crime scene room with all the other people, I was like, oh,
yeah,
that's interesting. But we shall see, because now I don't know what they're gonna do with the whole Batman and Joker. I'd be curious to see if they make it R, just because the last Joker was R. I know they're not tied; it's just stories. But
what if they are tied? Like those two are tied together?
Oh my gosh! But as we're talking about now, the little segue into Superman. Anybody else see the new Sherlock Holmes movie?
Oh my god, that's where you're going with this. I wasn't sure because there's like other DC stuff that we need to talk about.
No, keep it going.
Oh my
Change
gosh.
it up.
All right, so the Enola Holmes trailer just dropped for Netflix. It's a Netflix movie about Sherlock Holmes.
She went into a time hole. Now she's part of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it, right? No, Sherlock Holmes apparently has a little sister that we don't know about and is not in the original Sherlock Holmes books. There was a series written in more recent times, I think through 2006 through 2010, an author named Nancy Springer wrote a series of books starring Sherlock Holmes' 14-year-old little sister. And she's about 20 years younger than him. So that's quite an age gap. And I didn't know what to think when I first saw this trailer. It stars Millie Bobby Brown as the titular Enola Holmes, which it looks like she plays the character very well. It almost looks like she's just like herself. If you've ever seen Millie Bobby Brown in interviews, she's very, she's very energetic. She's very lively. And it seems like that's what this character is like as well. And Helena Bonham Carter is her mom. and her mom goes missing, and she's going to try to find her mother. She's basically, doing a whole sleuthing thing herself, and she goes to try to find her brothers Mycroft and Sherlock Holmes. And Sherlock Holmes in this movie is played by Henry Cavill, which I find interesting. Isn't it so funny how we've had Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and now Superman playing Sherlock Holmes?
It's a lot of DC this year.
I know, it's so weird. It's like, who else is good? What other hero is going to play him eventually? Is Chris Evans going to take on the role at some point?
Oh, no.
Man, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
No. We don't need a Captain America Sherlock.
That would be so weird, Captain America playing this British. And then we also have Sam Claflin, is that his name? Playing Mycroft, and he's the guy who played Finnick in the Hunger Games, and I did not recognize him.
It's going to be interesting because Mycroft and him have an interesting relationship already. And so now that the movie has nothing to do with them, I'm like, this is kind of interesting.
Yeah, they're more supporting characters. Like, I don't think they're supposed to have that huge of a role.
And I wonder how people are going to take, we've had the BBC version with Benedict Cumberbatch, and then the movies came out with
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. I almost said Iron Man.
And there's so many other same thing.
But they're very similar. Like those two characters' styles are very similar. Of course, different eras.
Yeah, it's different styles.
Henry plays kind of a really I'm sorry. At least from the trailer, he plays a very watered down Sherlock Holmes. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. But from my perspective of the BBC version and Robert Downey Jr.'s, I like those versions better.
We'll be talking about the personality differences here in just a moment, because there's an interesting tidbit about all that. So first I want to point out in that this movie was originally supposed to be released at the theaters by Warner Brothers, but Netflix ended up getting the distribution rights in April because of COVID.
Aww.
So isn't that crazy? It makes me wonder how this would do if it was released in theaters. Because honestly, it just seems like a Netflix sort of thing to release. Maybe it's just because Millie Bobby Brown is in it, and so is Henry Cavill because he's playing The Witcher. Maybe that's why.
They tell Warner Brothers, they're like, well, technically we have contracts with these people. Do you just want to give it to us and we'll promote you? I wish it was in theaters. Come on.
Yeah, it's weird. But back in June, the Arthur Conan Doyle estate. Now, Arthur Conan Doyle is the guy who originally wrote all the Sherlock Holmes series. They filed a lawsuit against Netflix, and I think even like the author of those books, I believe, and just like a bunch of other people.
That sucks.
Other groups, companies involved with this movie.
I would have been like, look, I wrote that book in the early 2000s. Count me out.
Well, see, here's the thing: is Sherlock Holmes is in the public domain. It's copyrighted in the public domain for the most part. And that, you can take the character of Sherlock Holmes and like do spinoffs and stuff like that, I believe, and not really get it under any fire.
Correct.
However, that's for the version of Sherlock that we all typically know, where his personality is he's very antisocial, very arrogant and demeaning towards people. He doesn't care about forming relationships with people. But the last 10 books of the Sherlock Holmes series is kind of noteworthy in that he sort of changed Sherlock's personality a little bit to be more warm towards other people and form like more close relationships as he got older. I do believe that's because the author ended up losing his son, I believe, a bit early.
Yeah.
Occurrences happened in his life to where he just felt like he needed to add some more humane personality traits to Sherlock.
So they sued Netflix because
those last 10 books are under copyright still.
Oh, okay.
And so therefore that personality of Sherlock is under copyright technically.
Interesting.
It's very weird. And in the trailer, it seems, he has this more, friendly attitude toward his sister.
Yeah.
He's not just like pushing her aside
it's like a big
or whatever.
Brother.
Yeah, he's actually, acting like a family member. So that's the grounds in that they're having this lawsuit on. Crazy to me.
What a weird lawsuit. What a weird thing to go sit in a courtroom if you have to and just copyright whatever the fancy words are because that Sherlock's too nice.
Yeah, like this personality, this one personality Sherlock is under copyright, but the arrogant, snotty
basically, if we don't have a jerk up version of Sherlock, then we're suing you.
Yeah, basically. I guess if you don't
Interesting.
have the license for it, like they didn't get the proper
It's very,
licensing.
very, very in like depth of just how much goes behind making a movie, especially when there's already
Yeah.
a paper book story of it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So yeah,
I
it's
uh
crazy.
I don't know how I feel about that because I would be like, yeah, new Sherlock Holmes movie about his sister. Oh, we're getting sued. Okay, dokie. Never
Yeah.
mind.
And I guess they don't seem to care about it at the moment because they just released a
Netflix,
trailer a few
really?
days ago.
I don't
So
think Netflix really cares. I think they
I don't
have the
think
funds and
so.
the backing to go, oh, yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's a thing.
I have no idea how this is going to turn out because they don't even have a date set for any sort of proceedings. So it's up
I
in the
bet you
air at this
anything it's
point.
either going to be 2021.
Anyway, the release date for this movie is supposed to be September 23rd. So I'll probably end up watching it. I like Sherlock Holmes stuff a lot. And although this seems almost sort of like fan fiction-y to me, I
Yeah.
guess, the fact that it's based off an actual book series kind of made it a bit better for me. I'll still check it out. I still like stuff like this.
Speaking of lawsuits, I'm just joking.
Are you
James
serious?
Gunn. Really?
Oh my gosh.
So there's a new The Suicide Squad coming out.
Yeah,
movie?
it's the Suicide Squad. That's
Yeah,
the main
I know,
distinction
it's
between the
dumb.
titles.
It's not Suicide Squad, it's The Suicide Squad. Ooh.
Yeah.
I guess to be more technically correct, because I guess there's a bigger group. I don't
There's
know.
a lot of them.
There is a lot.
I cannot keep track. I could have written them down, but I didn't. But
I know. 'Cause like you have John Cena, as he says, basically is a jerk of a Captain America. I'm like,
yeah. Well, let's back up. So they didn't release like an actual trailer. I
no,
don't
it's like a
believe. They
behind the
mostly had like a
scenes almost.
yeah, they did like a behind the scenes sort of thing, and then they did like a roll call where they showed all the characters that are gonna be in it.
It's really weird.
And there's so freaking many. It's like a dozen or more. I feel I didn't count,
Which is
but it
cool, I
felt like
guess,
that.
which is really cool.
It makes me wonder how you
But
write a script for something.
I have a question. How did James Gunn get away with this? I maybe I'm just out of tune on this one, but I thought he got fired for his personal reasons.
Yeah, from
And then I
Marvel
thought
because
they hired him back.
I don't remember that.
I could have just had high hopes and wishful
I thought
thinking. but
maybe they might have because of Guardians 3 stuff, but maybe not. I don't really remember the whole
Yeah.
thing. We just know he did definitely get hired on to do the Suicide Squad.
it's just like I saw Michael Rooker and
Yeah, Michael
Sean
Rooker's
Gunn.
in
I was like, ugh.
right?
What is Marvel going over to DC now?
That's just kind of crazy in a way. It's almost like that once Endgame happened, and Marvel did this big wrap up of so many huge franchises for them. It's like DC's like poking out of the woodwork and like, hey, we're relevant, and then it looks like some of the Marvel people are like, okay, yeah, let's
Or
let's go.
or the mouse has planted spies in DC and will be taking over DC. Because there's so many Marvel people on that side.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That'd be crazy. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, just food for thought. There's just a lot happening in that behind the scenes.
I mean, it looks promising, but
they
we
even
haven't
had
seen
the
a lot.
gatekeeper from Asgardian in there.
Oh yeah, Idris Elba is in that too.
I'm like, what?
I
Are you the gatekeeper over here?
They got Doctor Who, Peter
I know
Capaldi's
that's
in it.
such a weird combination. Like they have
Nathan
they have
Fillion. They
wrestlers,
got freaking Malcolm.
they have Nathan Fillion.
From Firefly.
They have Doctor Who. They have Marvel characters.
They do have so many sci-fi people in it. Oh my
what
god!
in the world? Y'all are all out of contract or something? So
I don't know. It's crazy, but yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how this turns out, just because of how huge the cast is.
Well,
and
I
just
mean,
to see
the last
how different it
Suicide
will be.
Squad apparently
wasn't
did
that
really
good.
bad.
Yeah, it was not very good.
So then I have a question. If Ben Affleck's so quick to come back for the Flash movie, do you think he might cameo in the new Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad movie with James Gunn, director? Wouldn't that be
I don't know.
something?
I feel like DC has two different universes going on within
That's
it, with two
very
different
true.
Batman.
I guess so does technically Marvel. For a while we had Marvel and we had Marvel Fox.
Oh yeah, Marvel, Sony, and
Marvel, Sony,
Yeah.
whatever. Whatever.
both of those.
Whatever
No,
they
both.
want
You're
to
right.
be.
yeah, there's a lot going on. I don't know, man. I guess we'll just have to wait.
I'm
and
telling
see.
you, I think they planted spies on the DC side. I don't know.
Let's see. Can we even name like who's in this movie? Let's just try, just for
John
like viewers'
Cena.
sake. Oh my god.
Sean Gunn.
No.
James
It's like
Gunn.
Captain Boomerang's back in it. I think it was
no.
Killer Shark,
I don't
Peacemaker, Polka Dot Man. I'm like, who the heck are you?
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool.
Mongol Thinker, which is Peter Capaldi's character.
I'm curious to what.
That's it. That's all I can remember. There's so
Tiki
many.
Type. Whoever made the.
Oh my! Are you trying to say Taika Waititi?
There it is. I always messed up on his name on purpose, and I literally messed up his name forever in my head. Man, they got like everybody. They got
so many people.
I think this is even the character Joel something. I forget his last name is. I think that's the guy that plays RoboCop. There's just such a weird cluster of people in here. Like I'm like,
there's so many.
I know they got a big randomly cast. Shuffle. It's like, it's kind of like a fantasy football team where like you just okay. So in real life, there's a football team, but in fantasy, there's like clusters of teams that you would really never see together. But you're like, yeah, that could work. Mm. And this is like, I feel like the Suicide Squad is a fantasy football team. Like, yeah, I mean, it could work.
Sure, I guess.
But it's interesting to see that like the guy's name that I don't remember how to say at the moment. Michael Rooker, Sean Gunn, James Gunn. This is going to be weird. Nathan Fillion, that's the head scratch right there because he's not titled with the name.
No, he is. It's just I don't know
Nathan
what the character
Fillion.
is. Yeah, he's just Nathan Fillion.
He plays himself.
No, they showed all the names in the roll call. I just don't remember all of them. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these characters are all about.
Kind of a corny. I don't know. They kind of give him like a corny outfit though.
He's corny in general in a lot of his roles. I feel like that kind of suits him. He's a very goofy dude.
So I bet you he hand selected his role anyways. But no, it's good. I'm happy that Nathan Fillion's doing stuff in sci-fi now because for like ever we're like, hello.
Yeah, he was just in that one ABC show about being a cop.
Yeah, and then he did the fan film of Nathan Drake.
Oh my gosh, I wish he would. That was real. So
but let's get to
let's
some
move.
A-lister DC. Captain, that's actually not right. Wonder Woman?
What were you
Look, I've watched so much Marvel that DC, this is new. Like, I mean, I feel bad because it's like Batman,
Superman, I know,
Batman,
I'm not a
Superman,
DC person
Batman,
either,
Superman, Spider-Man.
But there's so much DC stuff.
You're two
it's
for
not
two
bad.
now. No. They're 2 for 2. The first one, the villain, at the very end, I was like, wow, that doesn't look good.
Are you talking about the first movie?
Yeah, the villain scene where they fight.
Ares?
Yeah, whatever.
I forget. I'm sorry.
I really liked it besides the end. I was like, and then 1984 comes out.
We get to see Cheetah. We get to see what she actually looks like. Some people were afraid that she was going to look like one of the characters from Cats. Thankfully, she doesn't look like that. It's hard to tell because a lot of the scenes that they showed her, she's kind of like in the dark and being whipped around, so there's a lot of motion blur. So, I mean...
Oh, no. Someone's gonna make a haha with the Cats theme song now.
Oh my gosh.
Me?
Crazy.
I'm sorry. Anyway.
You okay?
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about this villain. That's surprising.
I don't either. That's what I was about to say. Who
is this?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know a lot about a lot of DC things. I don't know who Cheetah is. And to me, it's just like this lady who turns herself into a cheetah. I'm like, how is she going to stand up against freaking an Amazonian Wonder Woman, you know? I just want to know like what her deal is. Because to me, it just seems kind of strange. But that's just someone who doesn't know the comic lore, so.
I really appreciate how much she used the lasso in this one. And the way she used the lasso swinging between lightning bolts. That's was really
we saw that in the first trailer, but it's still
I'm just
really
highlighting
cool
it in general, regardless of I've seen it before.
It's so cool.
Like,
it's so cool to see. It's fun. Showed
first trailer, of course, we saw this, but
got to see Steve, what's his face? I forgot his last name.
Steve, what's his face?
Chris. He's like the other Steve. I keep thinking of him as like Captain America. He's like the other Captain America. Except he's just another Steve. But he's like wearing all the 80s clothes. Where it comes out wearing a fanny pack at the end and another
he's
outfit.
Like, I don't really know how I feel about this, but hey, we'll make it work. He's like, no, we could do better. He's like, parachute pants? People parachute? He really did a good job acting like...
Yeah, it was really funny.
What an old man would be like, I guess, in that era.
Right. I
Thanks.
saw a YouTube comment on that trailer that I thought was pretty good. It didn't occur to me when I watched it that, in the first movie, he has to kind of introduce Wonder Woman to like the
Yeah, it's
world
the other way
basically.
around.
And now she's introducing him to the 80s.
I love the scene where he's like, "All right, I can fly." And you know what? Nobody can see the way I fly. Like nobody can see me. And she's
Yeah,
like,
nobody's gonna find us.
"Oh,
And
I forgot to tell you."
his radar.
Yeah. He's like, "They can see everything." Yeah, it's funny. It's gonna be fun, kind of having reverse roles. So it makes you wonder: will he could be like a continued character throughout because he's back? I guess I'm more curious on how is he back? She's
I
even
remember
stunned.
I think I even thought of like a theory that it's just like an illusion or something because of like another villain that's in the movie, but I don't know. He could
Well, it's
still
just
legitimately be there through like
I hope
crazy
it's the
means.
version where when I first saw the movie, I hope it's the version where he jumped out at the very end before the plane blew up.
Never know. But
But
like,
what was interesting?
well,
No, go ahead.
that doesn't explain how he's there 40 years in the future and he looks the same. Like, nah, he jumped into a wormhole or something.
Yeah, something like that. Something
Or he's
crazy.
fake.
But what's funny is what looks like they're flying in a jet and they're flying through fireworks. These movies are going to be very interesting. I'm curious to see the DC side of things. So there's a lot of head scratching, which is fine. In my
They're getting their
opinion,
act together.
I feel like DC's finally grabbing the attention of people where they're like, "Oh, I actually want to see that." Not, "I'll see that when that comes out on DVD."
Yeah.
Sounds
They're
rude,
not.
and I'm sure there's a handful of people that will hear what I just said and be like, and I agree. Let's be real. Like, like outside of Wonder Woman, before that, it was a whole bunch of Batmans and Supermans, which is I love. This is getting into another
It's just been
area
very
where you're like,
sporadic. Like they haven't had like continuous like decent movies. They've had like decent movie garbage, decent movie garbage, basically sort of.
well,
They've had
and
a lot of
it's tough.
misses.
It's tough when it really is. I can't imagine everything everybody goes through on that end. The fact that in 2017 the last movie came out, and now in
Justice
2020,
League?
2021 this next movie's coming out.
Are we talking about Justice League now?
Are we talking about Justice League?
It was perfect because like Justice League first came out in 2017 and next year they're coming out with the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League on HBO Max.
Curious to see how that goes.
It's most likely gonna be better, I hope, because I saw Justice League. I wasn't a fan of what they did
Oh
with it,
no,
and I only recently learned because I don't know. I just kind of deliberately kept my head in the sand because I'm not a big DC person. But like the whole development hell this movie went through with the original director and how he got
yeah,
replaced. Yeah, like Zack Snyder was directing the movie and he had, I want to say, a good chunk of the movie shot already, if not all of it. Probably not all of it, but most of it. And
yeah.
then tragedy struck him in that like his daughter was killed or she committed suicide, one of the two, and he
Whoa.
had to leave the film. And so they replaced him with Josh Whedon. Warner Brothers wanted him to take Snyder's footage, cut it down a lot, maybe even less than a quarter of what he had filmed was left in the movie. And
Wow.
they did a lot of reshoots.
In 2021, you said this version comes out?
Next year, supposedly.
Man, that means Ben Affleck's going to be relevant.
It's so weird because we still got two different Batmans going on. Yeah,
It's
this
okay.
cut is probably going to change the whole tone of the Justice League. It's going to
Which
give
is good
so
because they
much.
probably need it because I personally like the first Justice League version. A lot of people did not. A lot of people were like, nah.
Yeah, like for some reason they wanted to keep it under 2 hours, which was just not doable for that kind of movie because they introduced all these characters that needed to get their own build up. They needed to form the relationship for the Justice
Yeah.
League in like an actual believable way. And I just don't think they were able to do it well. Like we weren't able to care about all these characters as much as we should have. With all the Marvel movies, we have 4 different movies to introduce all these superheroes before they met in the Avengers, and we cared about them because we knew their stories. We knew what they went through and what they're all about. We didn't really get that with all the DC characters in the Justice League. So, and also they just kind of like, Joss Whedon, he's known for trying to be like super snarky and have like tons of jokes in his movies, and it just didn't really fit in a lot of places in the Justice League. I didn't feel. I think Zack Snyder's cut is going to be a very different feel. It's going to be more serious, probably, and it's going to be more epic. Like the freaking trailer is amazing. It just the trailer looks better than the original movie. I don't think you saw it, but it was like all of these cuts to the song, like Hallelujah, Hallelujah. It just worked. It was just good. I don't know.
Do you need a moment to sing that song? Do I need to
No,
leave?
I'm not. I'm sorry I had to put people through that. I didn't know the original songs.
I didn't want to cut you off. I just didn't know if there was a dramatic pause.
It's just so much better if you watch it. Just go watch it. Don't listen to me sing it. But yeah, this cut is supposed to be like 4 hours long.
Oh my goodness gracious.
4 hours. It's like
that's
this
longer
epic
than
movie. Lord of the Rings.
It's longer than
extended cut.
that. It's longer than what's that alien movie that came out like ever ago? Avatar?
Oh yeah, it's longer than that.
Oh my
I don't know if it's longer
goodness.
than Gone with the Wind, honestly. I know that's like around 4 hours. Sound of Music.
Yeah. Well,
No,
Sound of
it's
Music's
long.
like
But HBO Max is supposed to be having it in like 4 1-hour chunks you can watch it in to make it feel like it's like 4 separate things, so you don't have
Yeah.
to just sit there for 4 hours and binge. Here's hoping that it's like a lot more well respected. And they like fix the CGI on some of these characters. They got more dark side in the movie, which I know some people are going to be really excited about because he's like the DC version of Thanos.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. DC's kind of shaking it up. Like, hey guys, here we go. I don't know. Marvel's been kind of quiet, taking the back burner, in my opinion.
Not really. It's like, remember the Phase 4 announcements that we did? What was it? Earlier this year, late last year, where they had like all these movies and TV shows playing.
Yeah.
But they've, everything's just been on hiatus because of COVID and stuff.
I get that. It makes sense.
But here's the thing too, is that it's just like some of these characters, I feel like people just don't care as much maybe since, Captain America and Iron Man stories are sort of wrapped up.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of revisiting, other side characters like,
Correct.
Black Widow. Doctor Strange is getting another movie, and Falcon and Winter Soldier's getting their own TV series. But I think in the way too, we're just kind of maybe a little tired of some of these characters, and the new ones that they're introducing just so far don't seem interesting enough. Like
Correct.
the Eternals. I think we're just getting Marvel. We're just getting Marvel fatigue, I think.
We're all fatigued from Marvel.
Mm-hmm. I hate to say it, but I think it's kind of true. Like, I'll still watch a lot of the stuff.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, 100%. When Disney Plus starts pumping them out, I'm like, let's do it. Come on, make it happen.
But like a lot of Marvel things just feel the same at this point too.
That's rude.
Like the writing just seems
Everybody
kind of
boo her.
similar.
Boo.
Whatever. I have opinions, okay. But
I know
DC's a little different, different universe and stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just
until the mouse buys them, like we said earlier. So.
I would be so surprised if that happens. Not saying it can't. But if that does happen, like, shoot, we might as well just accept Mickey Mouse as our total overlord now. But
at least they didn't buy Netflix. And Netflix,
no,
Netflix is a little busy making a new Resident Evil live action series. Has been confirmed.
Oh, yeah, that's what Netflix is doing now. They're getting into video game stuff even more so. Maybe that is their thing now. They're doing more video game related series because they just did The Witcher. Now they're doing Resident Evil. That was just announced very recently. Now it's just like
I don't
TV
know.
show.
Well, I mean, I guess
that's
how
like
people
more
felt
than
about The
movies?
Witcher. People were like, don't touch The Witcher. And then when we
Witcher
started
didn't-
seeing like action fight like teasers, everybody's like, oh, actually, can we have more of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of different though because Resident Evil has this history of questionable quality. Not even just with like the movies, but within their own games. So whenever anything new Resident Evil comes out that's different, it's just kind of, do we want this?
I mean,
This is
I
coming
don't
from
know.
somebody who's like an outsider. Like, I don't play the games, but I do for some reason. I keep up with like the plot and the main games. I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I don't know. I would trust Netflix. I know Netflix has handed us some polished turds, but they're not doing bad with The Witcher. I mean, I've only seen a few episodes, but people are like, I cannot wait for more Witcher. I cannot wait. So
Yeah.
they might have a niche for these video game live action
Maybe.
style.
That'd be
And
kinda
so
cool,
who
'cause
knows? Because
they're not that good
Netflix has a
normally.
high standard, regardless if it's not good. I always felt like at least the quality of what
They
they're
have a high
presenting.
standard for garbage, even.
Huh?
Sorry, it just made it sound like you were like, they have a high standard, even if it's garbage.
They do. Because at least in the quality side of thing, like in the visuals and the camera work and the direct, at least that. I'm not saying everything is
Yeah.
great, but I feel like when it comes from Netflix team of building something, I feel like they have really high standards on the equipment they use, the style they go with, all that stuff. I mean,
Let's
not the
just hope the
story writing,
writing is
that's
good.
different, but at least we'll get some high quality reference Resident Evil stuff for something,
Yeah.
like for Comic-Con, people to be able to sell fan art and dress up more modern looking.
Well, let's just go over the plot for those who
no.
are fans and if it sounds appealing to them. All right. So Netflix released an official synopsis. There's 2 timelines, all right, with the
Oh,
show
no.
apparently. In the first timeline, 14-year-old sisters Jade and Billy Wesker are moved to New
That's a
Raccoon
last name.
City. Yeah, here's the K. Wesker, Albert Wesker, is pretty much like one of the big antagonists
Yeah.
of the whole Resident Evil series. He's been
Mhm.
around like since the first game. I think he died in the 5th, but I don't know if he's been brought back in other ones. They've used like his genetic material to make children, basically. Like I
Whoa.
think one of his children has been in one of the Resident Evil games. So the fact that now apparently he has twin daughters is going to be a thing in the TV show.
The Shining ? I'm sure.
Oh God. All right, so they're moved to New Raccoon City. That's
Yeah.
not, raising eyebrows either. A manufactured corporate town forced on them right as adolescence is in full swing. But the more time they spend there, the more they come to realize that the town is more than it seems. Who'd have thunk it?
Dun, dun, dun.
And their father may be concealing dark secrets. Who'd have thunk
Dark
it?
Sidious.
Secrets that could destroy the world. This is their official synopsis here. I'm not putting that in there. Cut to the second timeline, well over a decade into the future. There are less than 15 million people left on Earth.
Whoa.
And more than 6 billion monsters, people and animals infected with the
No.
T virus.
No.
Yeah, Jade, now 30, struggles to survive in this new world, while the secrets from her past about her sister, her father, and herself continue to haunt her. My mind was blown when I read this stuff for the second
2
timeline.
timelines?
Yeah, I guess I don't know if they're going to switch back and forth between
I guess.
like the past and present. Or
It's going to be tiring to watch.
I don't know. I don't know if I could even watch it because
So I guess with Netflix, watching
probably
like
gonna make it
Stranger Things, when we saw the
gory.
monsters in there, I wonder if the monsters are going to look like that.
they're
Probably.
going to be worse than that, I'm sure.
Oh, no.
Like I've watched Let's Plays of like some of the Resident Evil games. Like I've watched, like
Ooh,
4
it's
and
gonna be
5,
scary.
6. And those, that's already, got grotesque monsters. It's like, but I feel like with the recent remakes they've been doing, like with 2 and 3, I feel like they've just taken everything up to another level with grotesqueness and
Oh,
gore
no.
and stuff. With my sister, we played the demo for Resident Evil 2 remake, and man, it was gnarly. Like there was like a certain part in it that just made me cringe, and like man, this wasn't in the other games cutscenes at all. So it was just very gory.
Oh,
And
boy.
so I'm worried about the TV show. I keep saying TV
And it is
show.
Netflix. Netflix is
series.
totally okay with doing whatever they want.
I'm just like, is it going to be Walking Dead level stuff or is it even going to be worse? I don't know. Because I could watch Walking Dead. Like, of course, it's got its moments and I just like turn away from it. But I wonder if Resident Evil is just going to be like unrelenting with.
I'm not watching it. I'm sure.
I know you wouldn't. I
I'll
knew
watch
you would
through
not.
other people and be like, so?
I just want to
How
know
is
what it's
it?
going to be like. I probably won't watch it myself. I'm just
Oh.
intrigued. Anytime there's
coming-
any sort of video game series, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, and like I said, coming through Netflix, all bets are off that it's going to be intense.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be. I'll be very surprised if they tone it down and make it more about story. Like, I will be very surprised. Resident Evil is not even known for its strong stories. It's not. It's normally very campy and kind of goofy in a way sometimes. We'll see how it goes. Apparently, they're going to have, like, I guess, cameos from other characters in the series appear. It's kind of maybe kind of sort of sounds like what they did with the movies in that it did its own thing, but sometimes characters from the games would pop in and out or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I expect it to be like. I just wonder if this is going to be anything like canon material. I don't think it is, because the fact that only 15 million people are left on Earth and that many monsters, like that doesn't sound like anything from the games that I've heard up to this point.
Yeah.
So that just sounds like it's taking things up to crazy amounts of levels there. It's so dark. It's so completely apocalyptic to where there's like hardly any hope left for Earth.
Speaking of platforms, you know how Netflix now has the Sherlock Holmes, just straight skip theaters, straight platform. Apparently,
What?
they're also doing that with Milan. Milan's, of course, skipping the theaters and going.
Oh,
They've already set the date for September 4th, 2020,
yeah. That's
and people
crazy.
people are
Oh,
like,
wait.
no,
Aren't they doing a thing where you have to pay like $20 to see it?
30.
30. Oh my gosh. That's crazy to me. I wonder
Yeah.
how long it's going to be. Like, you have to pay to
Let's
see
just,
it.
you know how funny it would be is everybody pays $30 to see it, and then places start opening. They go, yeah, $7, and then they release it back on Disney Plus. That's probably what's
No,
going to
they're
happen.
not going to do that.
Two things are probably going to happen. You want to watch it? $30. You want to take the gamble when things open up? Fine.
They're not going to do that. They're going to give Netflix the sole distribution rights. It's not even going to be allowed to be in
Netflix or Disney
theaters.
Plus?
I'm sorry. I just my mind was still on the whole Enola Holmes thing. Disney Plus. Disney Plus is going to have the whole rights to streaming it, and they're not
I
going to
know,
let.
but is it $30 to watch it early, or is it $30 just
Um,
to watch it? Because when officially is
I
it
want to
just
say
one of
it's
those
to
movies we
watch
filter
it
through and find it and watch
early.
whenever we want?
I want to say it's $30 to watch it early, and you'll be able to like own it basically from that point. And
Man,
then
I'll just wait until $30. Man,
I know, or I bet you just wait like 3 months or something, and you can watch it normally.
around the holidays, it's
Or maybe
like,
like
all right,
6
it's
months.
free.
I'm honestly very curious to see on how they do that and how long it'll take for them to let it be just free to everybody else.
I don't know.
Because we're gonna see more of this.
Right now, the way it's reading is if you want to watch it first, like right when it comes out
Mm-hmm.
everywhere, pretty much on the platform, $30. And then as you keep reading, they say within a couple months, you can just view it as a normal customer.
Yeah. Seems like
Well,
for us, it's not really worth it to spend
$30 to
$30.
watch something, and I'm not even getting the DVD. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
because
Like
I'll pay
for
$30 if you were going to
us.
give me some platinum, maybe $30 if I was going to get some platinum style behind the scenes cool. Sure,
Dude, it'd
but
be so cool if they like let you have behind the scenes stuff like with DVDs or Blu-rays. Like
yeah,
all this
but
behind the scenes footage,
if it's
man.
going to be a digital platform, then
Now,
no, I'll
now
just
with
wait.
families that with a lot of kids, this will be worth it, I'm sure. Because,
Yeah,
going to the movies would have been
but
like
$30.
crazy.
Look,
$30 for us single
I think it's
people
going to
who.
be real. I think it's going to be really good. Okay, from what I've seen, I think it's going to be really good.
Oh, yeah, it looks good. It's
$30
interesting.
for me not knowing how it actually is going to be is a lot of money for me to go, well,
Well, we could wait for reviews to find out,
yeah,
but
no, well, that's true. But I was thinking about that the other day. I was like,
I'm the kind of
$30?
person that doesn't go to the theater unless it's for like a $5 matinee deal on a Tuesday. So
Oh,
I'm not
you're the
paying.
lady like, hold on, I gotta get my coupon.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
so
me.
that
So I'm not paying $30 to watch a movie, but that's just me. I'm just cheap
I
with my
can't. I
family.
think the soundtrack's already out. Throughout, like the music and stuff is really cool. The sound effects, I'm just like, this is gonna be crazy. Like this is.
Hmm.
I like the cartoon, so this is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna be an interesting take. Still
It
gonna feel
is.
weird without like certain elements,
Mushu.
like no Mushu. But I understand why they want to make it more realistic, I guess.
Yeah, they'll probably.
Quote
That's
unquote
good.
realistic with like
I'm
wizards and stuff
look.
in it, but
I'm really bummed that we're not gonna go get the whole make a man out of you. So let's just not talk
yeah.
about it.
Hey, you know what? What if they have like an instrumental theme that's
They
making it out
might.
of you?
I
Like how
bet
they
you
did
they
with
will.
Reflection? They
Yeah.
might. That's good enough for me.
No.
You know how much garbage that actress who played Rose Tico in the Star Wars movies recently has gotten on the internet? Just how much
Yeah, it was pretty
bullying and
bad. I mean,
hate
she
that
even
she
shut
got.
down her whole Instagram.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that she got like a really good deal lately with Disney, and I'm happy for her. Kelly Marie Tron, which is her name, she's
Yeah.
going to be playing
What a
the
cool
lead
name.
role, yeah, in Disney's, was it Raya and the Last Dragon? So that's going to make her the first Southeast Asian to ever lead in a Disney movie, and that's pretty
Oh
cool.
snap!
Yeah, that's a good, I mean, that's a pretty big
I feel
deal, and the
like
fact that she got
Disney's
that, I
been
think
really
she,
nice to these people because I mean, even the guy that played Jar Jar got in pretty bad shape, and now he's doing the temple thing with the kids, and
that's
everybody
right.
loves him. So she
Hmm.
got just handed over like really bad, almost similar to Jar Jar's role. Shut down her Instagram. It was bad. So now I feel
Yeah.
like Disney's presented another like, hey, we're sorry.
Yeah, pretty much almost. I mean, originally she wasn't even cast in this
Yeah.
movie. It was some other actress, but they ended up changing their minds for whatever reason. I think they just also really liked her performance when
She's
she
a good actor.
auditioned. Yeah, like apparently she was just like coming up with stuff on the spot when they told her just to do her own thing in the audition, and they like really liked what she did.
That makes me happy because it's stuff like that. You're like, aw.
I know. It's really nice to hear that. I like heartwarming stuff like that. So I hope it really does well. It's supposed to come out in early 2021, so there's hope
Oh
that it'll come out
man,
normally.
we gotta wait that long.
Everything is coming out that late, it seems. Now let's talk about all the DC stuff.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more DC related video games that are
Oh my
going to be
gosh,
coming out, and I'm excited.
DC is just like unzipping and going, let it rain. We got all the stuff we've been holding back.
I was worried when doing an unzipping phrase there. I'm like, what? No, it's like, but all this is so good. At least I hope it is. I really like the Batman Arkham series. I haven't played Arkham Knight, but I've played the other ones.
Yeah.
And Rocksteady, and they're the developer behind almost all the Arkham games except for Arkham Origins, coming out with a new game called Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy in that. So the trailer shows Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, and King Shark. I think they're about to try to get like an assassination deal going or whatever, and they find out that their target is Superman, clearly possessed by something. I think it's Brainiac is basically got control over the whole Justice League, and they gotta wrangle him up. They didn't show any gameplay, unfortunately, but Rocksteady, I mean, they did so well with Arkham Asylum and Arkham City that I have faith that they'll make a really good product with the Suicide Squad, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, and it's just crazy to think that you're going to be going after the Justice League as these guys. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Like even the reactions when they were like, "Oh, we gotta take down Superman," basically Captain Boomerang is like, fuck," and that just ends. I don't know.
Should be interesting.
Interested. And you know what's hilarious is that the developer that made Arkham Origins is coming out with their own Batman game.
Oh my gosh.
It's called Gotham Knights, and it's not okay. I can't say it's a Batman game because Batman's supposedly dead in this game, and you're taking control of Robin, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Red Hood.
Oh,
and you're protecting Gotham. And I think
that's interesting.
And they showed Mr. Freeze is going to be a villain, and the Court of Owls, and it looks super spooky when they showed the Court of Owls.
It's gonna be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God, no. No, it's not. But man, that would be hilarious.
No, it would not be. Actually, I play it for that.
I wish they would do like a DLC for one of those games where it's like some messed up version of Mr. Freeze and it's just the Arnold version. Oh man, that would be funny. But they showed, I don't know, I hope it was gameplay, but it kind of looked like just really cinematic gameplay and not like legit gameplay, but it was enough to make me be like, ooh, I really do want to play with all these characters.
Yeah.
They look like fun, and it looks like the traditional Arkham style whatnot going on. So it looks legit. Like I'm excited for that too now. I hadn't heard of it at all until this either. And it looks like Red Hood just straight up shoots people, so that's different. Like everybody else is like, I'm not gonna kill people, just mess them up. And he's like, no, I'm gonna kill.
It's just, I'm telling you, DC's all of a sudden become like very violent.
I'm wondering if they're gonna be rated M games too, because Arkham Knight wise, so
probably.
I wonder if these are gonna follow suit. I think the Suicide Squad one is. I'm not sure about Gotham Knights. And I guess the last thing that's maybe worth mentioning is that they showed a Black Adam trailer, and it's starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Of course it is.
But you know what's weird is that their trailer, it didn't actually show any footage. It didn't show any live action footage. It was almost looked like stuff made in Flash or something. It looked like an animated comic sort of thing with The Rock doing a voiceover.
What a bummer if that's true.
Yeah, no, that's kind of weird that they decided just to do it that way. And
if that's the final say so.
No, that's not how the movie's gonna be. But that's how they decided to. I hope not. No, it's just interesting they decided to release a trailer like that without any footage. Like, that just seems kind of scary, honestly.
Well,
That's a thing. And apparently, The Rock came out and said that the Justice Society of America, made up of Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Cyclone, and Atom Smasher, will appear in the film.
the excitement behind that voice is, oh, there you go. I don't know what that is. You're welcome.
I just feel like people have been talking about like the potential for this character for a while now to have a movie for years. So the fact that they came out with a trailer, I feel like is somewhat of a big deal.
There's just a big mumble jumble of things coming out that do not make sense, but they will make sense after we see them.
Or we'll just be more confused than ever and be like, "Who the heck is Polka Dot Man?"
Probably, and I'm not looking forward to seeing that when we go back to Comic-Cons and stuff. I'm like, no.
Oh my gosh, see all these Polka Dot Man cosplayers. It'd be great. Man, could you imagine like this whole huge group of all those Suicide Squad characters? That'd be insane. I know it's going to happen. Crazy. So many DC characters are going to be at Comic-Con. I guess that does it. We talked about all the new stuff that we know and that we relatively
There's just a lot.
About, so
they just kind of all over the place recently.
It just splat all over the place.
I
like
know.
literally like hours before we're sitting here recording, I just found out about all this DC stuff. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's just, I guess I wasn't ready for that just for the last couple weeks, couple months. I'm just like, yeah, eventually things will start coming back out. And then all of a sudden it's just like traffic jam.
That just shows when you never know when the nerd bomb will hit and just explode over everybody.
I think we need to end the episode, guys. So, anyways, thank y'all for joining us this week and hanging out with us on the Nerdy News and Stuff episode.
Yes, thank you for sticking with us. Don't know why you did this long, but we're very grateful.
Don't worry.
Listen to us just go off and not really have much
DC. We love Marvel. We're in confusing opinions. But anyways.
Bye.
Yeah. All right.
If you like this show, be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app. You can also find our previous episodes there and listen whenever you want. We love to hear from our listeners, so if you have any comments or suggestions for future episodes, you can reach us at tvvpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
Disney's on a high of just releasing stuff.
You mean DC?
Oh my gosh, there's so many Disneys and Netflix and
DC and Disney. Yeah, I can see
Disney
that would be confusing.
stuff.